Hey, 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 what's good, beautiful people? Welcome to my channel. My name is Shella, or you can call me your lawyer bestie. And I'm an admitted attorney of the High Court of South Africa who is super passionate about non-traditional legal careers. And the reason for that is that I went into practice thinking that it's the only thing that I could do with my law degree, and I was far from the truth. So I have started this series where I profile people who are doing amazing things with their law degrees and they're not admitted. And in today's episode, we have Thando. I am so excited for this one. Thando's journey is just testament of the fact that you should not despise the days of your small beginnings, and you need to cast your net wide, because a program that she enrolled in basically changed the scope of her career for the better. And in this episode, she shares a lot of gems that I know will be useful to you. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Drop down to the comment section and leave a comment or a question for Thando and I, and we'll get back to you. And subscribe to the channel so the family can grow. And please, 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 please don't forget to share this episode with somebody who you know could use this information. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into it. Thando, thank you so much for joining me on my channel. I am so excited to be having this conversation with you. So before we start, please introduce yourself to the people. Let them know who you are and what it is that you do.
Hi, Sheila. My name is Thando. I'm 26 years old, and currently I work as an analyst, a contract negotiator within the oil and fuel space within aviation. So I'm more into fuel for airports. I've got a degree in LLB that I obtained in 2019, and yeah, that's who I am in a nutshell.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So when you go to work, when you start with your, with your work, what is it that you do?
So basically, my title, my job is a negotiator. So I receive a lot of contracts. So on behalf of the company, of course. And then, yeah, I negotiate those, I review them, I make red lines, if I can call it that. And then, yeah, it's basically a back and forth, discussing the contracts, the terms of the contracts. It can be from anything from disputes until liability, right? So yeah, that's what I deal with on a daily basis. It's like if I can put a number on it, it's like I receive like maybe 10 contracts per day to review, and it needs a lot of patience, and it needs someone who has a legal background. Of course, it needs an LLB degree to be able to understand the terminology. So that's basically what I do on a daily basis. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes, it does. So you speak a lot about contracts, you receive a lot of contracts on a daily basis that you review, and you mentioned that you have an LLB degree. Dealing with contracts is something that attorneys deal with a whole lot. So would you say that in your role, a person needs to be admitted first before they can excel in this role? Or are you finding it that even without admission, this is something that people can get into?
Yes, even without admission, this is something that someone can definitely do. I'm not admitted, although I did do articles, I have an LLB, and I did write my board exams. It's just that I haven't pursued admission as yet. It's not something that is required, and I can understand why. I think once you understand the company, the type of company and what you're dealing with, which is in this instance it's a product, it's easier to apply that using your legal knowledge, and that does not require admission. I think any LLB degree can
Admission.
really do this, and know what I mean. As long as you've got the legal background that is required. Otherwise, admission is not a requirement, which is actually good, right?
Mm.
Yeah, because I
It
mean, not all of
is.
not all of us want to, pursue admission and be in practice, you know what I mean? Although I did enjoy for the time that I was doing my articles, but it's not a requirement now that this is, what I'm doing.
Mm, mm. And you're right on, the point that we can't all be admitted. And I think that's where the misconception that a lot of graduates have is that they have to get admitted. And it's not true. You know,
Mm.
there's more graduates than there are spaces to accommodate them. There's challenges to getting admitted. So I think just looking at what else is available is good, because then, people don't have the pressure of just trying to get into one stream, you know?
Yes, and I mean,
So,
if I
mhm,
can just speak on my journey, right, from
yeah.
obtaining my LLB degree. So I did my 4 years, and I finished in record time, thankfully. And then I think it was COVID at the time, so
Mm-hmm.
2020 was a crazy year for everyone. And then
Yeah.
right after that. After graduating, you know what I mean? We didn't walk the stage, but it was still a graduation. I was able to find articles right when we were like on level two, I think, if I'm not
Mm-hmm.
mistaken. I found articles, and it was a medium sized firm in Port Elizabeth. And then what happened was I really enjoyed it because I was within litigation, I was in court. Anyone who went to varsity with me will remember that I was someone that really enjoyed moot courts, and I wanted to be within that space, possibly an advocate. And then
Yeah.
it was a long journey, right? I think court will really give you the right skills, the right experience that you need in life in general to survive, to boost your confidence, and in ways that nothing else can do that. So I enjoyed that. And then when my contract ended, I felt as though I'd learned everything that I needed to learn. Yes, I did have
Mm-hmm.
challenges in terms of writing boards. I think I attempted like I think 4 times, but it was because of the workload, and also balancing the two. So yeah, I did pass eventually, but it was a bit of a challenge. And I think what we don't talk about enough when it comes to practice is that it's difficult when you come from a disadvantaged background, for instance, because there
Ooh,
is a lot of
yes.
requirements, like the
Mm-hmm.
car requirement. You need a license. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean. The money is not enough. The salary is not enough. It doesn't cover everything that you need. So I think, especially for Black people, it's very difficult for us to get into the space. I remember at some point I had to buy a car myself, and imagine on an article's salary having to balance that, have a car, and have to make a living. You know what I mean? So for me, that I think that's one of the
Sure.
things why I wanted to move away from practice, because I felt like there were a lot of things that are very unfair. And, if we can open the door for people who are still outside the door, who are still thinking that practice is all there is, then let's do that. Because when I finished my articles, I can tell you, I never wanted to look back and say practice is something that I wanted to do because of that, of those requirements, and because of, all the things that I felt like were unfair for someone who looks like me. Um, and then after my articles, right, after I eventually passed my boards exams, I wanted to get into corporate, what we call corporate, which is where I am now. And I was realistic with myself, because there's no way that you come from articles and someone is going to give you a job to in corporate, because you need
Yes.
experience, and sometimes you need admission for some companies. So what I did was I applied, and then I decided to look into programs. So I looked into the Yes program. That was what was the stepping stone for me in my
Yes.
career. So the Yes program, I was basically a student. That's what they call it. and it was within the legal and compliance department. So I gained a lot of exposure when it comes to contracts in general. And then this job came when I was still doing that. I didn't complete my 12 months. I was applying, obviously. Now my eyes were opened to a lot of possibilities because of that program. You know, you were open to knowing other careers that I didn't know existed and what I could do with what I currently had, which was an LLB degree. So then I applied and I was able to land myself a job. And that job really, the YES program really equipped me, especially when it comes to contracts, because I was reviewing those and dealing with negotiation, but on a smaller scale. And that really assisted me to be where I am today. So that's basically my journey. I think I'm rambling, but that's basically how far I've come, if I can put it like that.
Mm. So you joined the years program, and the years program put you in corporate. And before you
Yes.
could finish the year with the years program, you get this job as an analyst, as a contract negotiator. Oh,
Yes.
wow, that's amazing because, you see how even though you left practice and it probably might have felt like, oh, this is actually such like a, it's not a great decision to leave practice, but, it has redirected you to exactly where you needed to be. And, I think when it comes to just our careers in general, it's important for us to be open minded. So some opportunities come, but they don't look the way we think,
They don't
things will
pay
pan out
much
in the future.
sometimes.
Exactly. Exactly. For example, the YES program. I mean, now that you're speaking about it, I think people might even look down on the YES program. They might be like, well, I don't want to register for this thing. Why
Yes.
should I,
Yes.
why should I register for YES? And look,
Mm.
YES put you in a place where you could do, contracts and things like that. And it has led to you getting to where you are at this present moment, which is just absolutely, absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. It is.
so I
Thank you
just
for
want to
saying that.
ask, yeah. So I just wanted to ask you, when you were in university, did you know that alternative legal careers existed? Because I know I didn't. I was
Not at
like,
all.
it's either admission or nothing. Like, did
Not
you
at
have an
all.
idea that LLB could take you somewhere else outside of practice?
Not at all. I knew about company secretaries, and I think that's
Yes.
basically that's all I knew about careers outside of practice. It wasn't until I
Mm,
did my own research and also what the YES program has done for me that I was able to look at things differently and just explore the different careers that are there. But otherwise, they don't tell us that even in career fairs, it's only law firms that come, and you think this is basically endgame. This is where I'm supposed to be, and no, it's not always the case. Yes, there's people who
mm.
are destined for that, for practice, and nothing wrong with practice. It's just that it's not the only stream that
It's
you
not the
can
only
get
thing.
into.
Yeah.
It's not the only. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I wish they did a lot of that where they just tell us tell us the possibilities, and it's so sad to see graduates that are discouraged, and it's what you see on the internet, right? They are so discouraged, they feel like this
Mm-hmm.
degree is completely pointless. But that's why I really appreciate platforms like yours where people get to know about these things, and they get expanded in terms of their knowledge, and yeah, but they really definitely did not let us know what other careers were
That's
there.
true.
Practice and being an attorney and billing hours, that's all.
Yeah, you know what? I like that you touched on the fact that you didn't know in university because I think that's the reality for most of us. There's a piece that I'm busy writing, and I recall a point in my third year of study because third year is when the pressure is starting to get higher
Yes.
when it comes to articles. We are all now trying to secure a space. I remember a group of friends and I in university were discussing what we wanted to do. And I vividly remember that conversation that none of us said anything outside of attorney and advocate. All of us said attorney and advocate.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I look back on it, I see that it's because our career fairs are filled with law firms. Our career fairs don't show compliance officers, they don't show lecturers. We don't even know how lecturers got to be lecturers. Do you get me? You
Exactly.
know, we don't know anything at that point. And when you look at the practicals that you do in university, they are for practice. Moot court, that's for practice.
Oh,
Law
yes.
clinic, that's for practice. You know, like all these things that you do just basically push you towards practice. So I found myself in a position where when I finished with my time in practice, I felt bad because all these years I've been programmed to, thrive
To
or like
think
be
one
in
way,
practice.
yeah.
So when I
Mm.
didn't like it, yeah, when I didn't like it, I felt like something was wrong with me. And it's not a one size fits all.
Look at us
All of
now.
us, look at us today. I mean, I think my younger self would not believe if I told her
Hmm.
that you would not like practice.
Right? Same
Yeah.
here. Same
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, I think my younger self would probably just be like, no, there's no such thing. If you don't like
Hmm.
practice, then what?
Then
Then
why are you
what do
doing
you
the
want to
LLB?
do with your
Why go
life?
for the degree? Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't you study something
Mm.
else? And another thing that I realized, as I speak to graduates, is that we have a lot of graduates or people who are creatives as well, and they don't know how to use their degrees.
Mm.
We have people who have different interests and they just don't know where to go. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, just having these conversations is just an absolutely great idea. So I want to ask you, like, how does a graduate get into the space that you're in? So we know with your journey, you went through years, and then through years, you got to where you are right now. So how can somebody with an LLB degree get into your space? So with this question, I want you to also add on additional certifications or things that people can do in order to, somewhat stand out in their applications when they're applying for example, the role that you are doing.
I think for myself, it's a bit different because I didn't do any contract management certificates at all. It was just my LLB degree. But if obviously if you want to advance yourself, you can even lead has a lot of those. I know you sometimes you pay, but there's a lot of those like contract drafting. I think that
Yes,
really adds onto your
yes.
CV.
Mm-hmm.
But for myself, I it's just my LLB and also my experience in the years program. But yeah, I think if you look into that, there's a lot of other avenues that people can choose, like add onto your LLB, maybe a contract management certificate, drafting. Yeah, but for myself, I think whatever I do going forward would be advancing onto my what I currently have now, the kind of knowledge that I have now. Like I'm pursuing a master's now in commercial, and that has a lot to do with contracts. Some of it has a lot to do with contracts. So yeah, but for my in my experience, it was just my LLB and the experience I got as a result of the years program.
Okay, okay. You know what? I like the fact that you touched on the contract course from Lead. I feel like
Yes.
those courses, people like they don't. I think people don't know about them, or maybe we just ignore the emails. I don't know, but
Yes, it's a
those
lot of
those
emails. It's a lot of emails, but I think
there's
that
a
can
lot
be
of
very
emails,
useful.
but honestly, if you get emails from the Legal Practice Council, from the Law Society, please read the emails. I've seen that
Please.
they offer really great courses. Yeah, they offer really great courses, and it's like nobody's looking at those things, but they're really
Yeah.
beneficial. Yeah, yeah.
Even
So if
compliance
anyone is
things.
watching this,
Yeah, even if you want to get into compliance, there's definitely compliance certificates that you can do, just to add on to what you already have, which is an LLB. That could be useful as well.
yes,
Mm.
yes. And also, I just want to say with the lead courses, um, like they just pop up randomly. It's not like from January to June, it's an intake. No, it's not like that. I'm just, oh, am I wrong? They just pop up
No,
like
no.
sometimes you just get a notice. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just
I
get an
receive those
email
as well.
saying, yeah, you'll just get an email saying, in 2 weeks we are starting. Let's go, you know. So
Mm,
with lead, people who want to do courses with lead, just know that it's not something that you can really like plan for months ahead. Because then it'll just pop up on some day. If this is not true, please somebody, write in the comment section if maybe there is a calendar, that people can look at and probably plan ahead. But I have not seen that. All I just see is just emails as they come. So I want to touch on work ethic. So I know that contracts are, things that rely on time. You cannot get a contract and slack.
you
In
can't.
terms of reviewing a contract, in terms of drafting a contract, like basically when it comes to contracts, time is of the essence. So I just want you to touch on the work ethic that you think would make somebody, to strive in this particular career as a analyst, as a contract negotiator. What work ethic. I just wanted to touch on the work ethic because I think on social media you'll see people talking about how young people in South Africa have a very poor work ethic. They don't get things done, and so I just want you to touch on the work ethic you think would benefit somebody who wants to get into your space.
I think discipline is very important.
Ooh.
I had to learn that the hard way, especially when I was still reading for my board exams, studying for my board exams. I think that discipline is one of the most important things that you can teach yourself. It's very important to also know the right people. So discipline goes beyond, just doing what you need to do at the right time. Know the right people, knock on the right doors. I know that for some young people, it's very hard to make connections, but I think those are very important. They can take you very far. But at the same time, just learn discipline. You know what I mean? Be disciplined because
Mm.
reputation is important. You must make yourself a brand. You know what I mean? Even in the corporate space, be a brand and let your brand speak for you. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how far that can take you, even in life general. In general, so yeah, that's I think that's how I can answer that question. Be disciplined, and trust yourself. That will take you far. Trust yourself, and yeah, that's basically it.
Mm. Yeah, I love that you touch on discipline because when you look at the common problems that employers complain about, it's like people are on their phones all the time. That shows lack of discipline.
Yeah.
People are not submitting work on time. It shows lack of discipline. Not pitching up to work early, leaving early, just having excuses all the time is a
Yeah.
product of lack of discipline. So I really like that you touched on that because discipline basically just covers everything. When you are disciplined, it covers everything. It covers
Yeah.
how you do your work, when you do it, and just everything related to that. And I also just want to add on the network part, networking, knowing people and speaking to people. We I speak a lot actually about networking and the importance thereof, but I think something that I don't really mention a lot is how a poor work ethic will even impact your network because you will network, you will meet people, and it'll be nice, at events, exchanging numbers, exchanging LinkedIn
Mm.
profiles, whatever. But if your work ethic is poor, nobody's going to push you ahead. If you are a lazy person, nobody's gonna want to push you ahead.
No.
Yeah, to a certain extent you might get away with it, but in the long run you can't because now, when somebody's pushing you ahead, their reputation is also at stake. So if I'm
Yeah.
pushing you ahead and you are lazy, my reputation is at stake. Now you're messing things up for me as well. So, having discipline also just rolls over to networking. It rolls over to everything. So I think, yeah, that's like super super duper important.
Yeah, it all
So
comes together.
yes, yes, absolutely. So before we wrap up, I just want you to give somebody some advice. Think about the young you who just had their LLB degree, and you were starting articles and you had no idea that you'd be where you are today. What is some advice that you have for somebody, a law graduate, or maybe somebody doing their articles? What would you say to them?
I would say lower your expectations, and not in a bad way, but in a way that you're not entitled. Do you know what I mean? You must let your work speak for you. Just be patient in this industry, if I can call it that. Be very patient. Patience is something that will take you far. I know, I think for myself, when I graduated, I was expecting to be very comfortable in life, just to live a very, because LLB, to be honest, is quite glamorized, right? It's made to seem
Mm-hmm.
like it's suits or how to get away with murder, when it in reality,
Yes,
there's
yes.
moments when it won't be like that at all. So I would say be patient and really put in the work without expecting money or to get rich. It takes time, and be patient with yourself, and be very patient. Take your time, because it does take time to really get to a point where you are confident, number one, and to a point where this degree works for you. So yeah, I would
Fact.
say be patient and take your time, and really be someone who's eager to learn. And we throw that word around, but it's very vital to be someone who really is hungry to learn. Just be that person. Be that person who really wants to learn, instead of just receiving. Just learn, and yeah, pace yourself. Be patient.
Mm,
I think
mm.
if
Yeah,
someone had told me that,
I
it would have saved me a lot of time, to be honest, and a lot of time
yes,
worrying, because I was just like,
yes.
this degree is not materializing to the point that I wanted to. But if someone had told me to just be patient, be patient and just take on the knowledge, and you'll deal with the rest later.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you know what? You're right about, the whole expectation after an LLB. Like, it's like you're expected to start making money because the degree is glamorized. So when you graduate and you don't make money, first of all, you deal with the disappointment within yourself. And then you have to deal with the expectations of everyone else. Now, you're also just trying to navigate your way around life. You're trying to see what is what, and nothing is happening as you thought. So, yeah, it's important to be patient, and also don't look at your career as a get rich quick type of thing. It's not
No.
like that for the many thousands of us. The many thousands of us. Yes, there are those who are fortunate who are able to get into top five law firms. However much they make, it might be much, but it's not everyone. I also speak for myself. When I started content creation, it was not even like a thing. When I started content creation, I did not make money from my content. I wasn't even making money at all because at that time I left practice and I didn't even know what I could do. I was just
Yeah.
applying everywhere because I did not know what I could do. I knew what I was passionate about, but I didn't see how what I was passionate about could make me money, incorporating the law as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
honestly, for some people it takes time. For some people, you're still figuring out what it is that you want from this life. You're just trying to marry your passions with your degree. So it really does take time and it needs patience.
Yeah, a lot of patience.
A lot of patience.
And
Yeah,
also,
and I think, that's
sorry. Also, I think that people mustn't think that it will always be the same. It does get better. Hence, I'm saying that it's important to really learn and advance yourself. So if you're focusing on advancing yourself, then that's when it works for you. You know what I mean? It does get better at the end. It does get better, but it does take time.
yes. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. I totally agree, and I think that that's something that I too needed to hear when I was younger. That it's not gonna happen today or tomorrow. It's gonna take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Relax and pace yourself where you are. Learn as much as you possibly can, before you move on to the next phase. Just going step by step and not trying to skip phases. You can't go from graduate to partner. Doesn't work like
Mm,
that. Even with that,
no,
you
it
go like
doesn't.
that. You have
Mm,
steps that you have
yeah.
to fulfill. Yes. Yeah. So Thando, thank you so much for your time. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you coming onto my channel. I don't take your wise words and experience for granted. And I know that people have learned quite a lot from this conversation. So if you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Drop down to the comment section, leave a comment for me or Thando, and we will get back to you. And subscribe to the channel so the family can grow. Don't forget to share this episode with somebody who you know would find this information useful. Until my next video, I'm sending you tons of love and light.
Thank you,
Bye.
Sheila. Bye.